Welcome to this Conversations with Robert, a Mindfulness Teacher podcast. I'm here in the beautiful Bournemouth Gardens, literally just 2 minutes away from where I live. It's a nice sunny day today. It's much warmer. And I thought just to get out and record something on working with people, working with difficult people, being in relationships with people, and how can we remain centered, how can we remain balanced when we are experiencing interactions with people that are not perhaps pleasant or that are perhaps difficult in some way. So this podcast, a very short podcast, is pretty much about relationships. So I don't know about you, but I find myself often really challenged in many ways, working with other people, whether that's professionally, whether that's just friends and family. I always find that it definitely is a trigger for either feeling frustrated and disappointed somehow, but also I recently find that it's a trigger for practice. So I remind myself on a daily basis that every situation in my life is an opportunity to deepen my sense of wisdom, my sense of compassion, my sense of understanding, my sense of patience for not only myself but also for other people and for life in general. But being in a relationship somehow seems to be quite a challenging thing for many people, including myself. And just because I've meditated for quite a while now, for many years, doesn't mean that I'm immune to this. I think all of us experience this kind of challenge, this kind of situation where perhaps things are not going our way with somebody, or when somebody has perhaps said something that has upset us, or our needs are not being met somehow. And it's almost like we can be fighting a battle, almost like banging their head against the wall because the person just doesn't understand where we are coming from, or we feel they're not willing to understand our point of view perhaps. So a kind of friction arises. So the question is, how can we begin to work with this kind of situation where things are not going our own way? And for me, it always comes back to the pause moment. So when I experience something in relationship to another person, and let's say frustration arises, or anger arises, or disappointment arises, or hurt arises, the most valuable thing to do at that time, for me personally, as a meditation practitioner, as a person who lives life, is to encourage myself to drop into this pause moment, into this space within myself where I feel a little bit more grounded, where I feel a little bit more centered, and where I feel less reactive. Because one of the biggest challenges with learning how to work with relationships is that we get locked in to this kind of reactive internal pattern, and we end up fighting ourselves. We end up rehearsing conversations that we've had with somebody. So you might have noticed from your own experience that even though a situation has been perhaps resolved with a person, the mere thinking about the person might bring up all sorts of thoughts, all sorts of feelings, all sorts of emotions once again. And it's almost like we are back in the kind of war zone with ourselves. So the biggest challenge is kind of reducing that reactivity as a first instance response. And how can we do that? How can we feel a greater sense of balance and groundedness when we are swept away by all these difficult emotions that very often get triggered through relationships or being in a situation with another person? And for me, a very, very simple method, very simple technique is the breath. It is so simple that it's ridiculous. That's how simple it is. It's so simple that we forget about it. And there's even a reason why we forget about it. It's not even our fault. It's because when we are reactive, that part of the brain, the amygdala, the fight or flight response, the fighting the person, or the running away from the person, or the just freezing up, not knowing what to do, it kicks in. And it overrides our ability to make wise decisions. And this is why it is difficult to really think straight when we are triggered by another person. It is really difficult to make good, wise decisions, or even to respond with a sense of calmness and clarity. So the breath is something that can really, really support us in switching from this kind of reactive mind more to feeling a sense of groundedness, a sense of balance, a sense of ease. And once we are in this place of greater clarity and great understanding, we can then more consciously be able to have the capacity to respond more wisely to the needs of the situation. But when there is no clarity, when there is confusion, when there is too much emotion, we are really unable to respond wisely, respond well, and we just keep acting out, or we keep repressing, and we feel ashamed or guilty or bad, or it's our fault, or we attack. And we get locked in this kind of fight or flight, this kind of amygdala overreactivity. So just breathing more deeply, and this can be done whilst we are talking to the person, and they don't have to know that that's what we're doing. I very often practice deep breathing, silent deep breathing, and that really helps me to feel my own body, feel my own sense of stability, and in that way I'm less caught up in that reactive cycle. Now, it doesn't mean that reactivity will go away, but we can have a greater sense of clarity, a greater sense of ease, and respond more wisely from that place of feeling a little bit more balanced, a little bit more clear about things. So again, the breath can be very, very helpful at any point of interaction, whether we are speaking to the person there and then, or whether we've already had the conversation and we're still feeling reactive internally. The breath can be very, very powerful, very, very helpful. So I think I'm going to leave it very simply as that. The best way for me, as a mindfulness practitioner, as a person who struggles with life, really, even more than that, encouraging myself to come to that pause moment through the breath is something that really supports my sense of well-being, my sense of clarity. So I'd like to just offer a few moments of meditation, just a few moments of silent sitting where we work with the breath, and we do a very short 1-minute soothing breath meditation. So I invite you to do that if you care to, if you feel up for it. Perhaps find yourself a comfortable place to sit, or lay down if you like. Whatever you feel would be appropriate for you right now, whatever would be comfortable for you right now. And if you're sitting up, then just making sure you're sitting up with your back straight, body relaxed, shoulders relaxed. And you may wish to close your eyes if that feels okay for you. And we can do a very short practice exploring the soothing breath. And all this is really is beginning to notice what our breathing is right now. Just checking in with the quality of our breath without changing it in any way. Noticing whether it's fast, slow, smooth, coarse, comfortable, uncomfortable, tight, relaxed. Just connecting with the body, just the way the breath is right now. And I'd like to invite us to begin to take a few deeper breaths, not in any particular way, but just a little bit slower and deeper. And breathing in our own way, in our own time, not rushing in any way. And just on the exhalation, see if we can just relax the shoulders and just allow the body to let go a little bit. Keeping our attention on the in-breath as we are breathing in. And we can even repeat as we are breathing in. Breathing in, breathing in, breathing in. And as we are breathing out, resting the attention on the out-breath, natural, slow out-breath, comfortable out-breath. And perhaps, if it's helpful, repeating the words silently, breathing out, breathing out, breathing out. Each time the mind wanders, just bring it back to the slow, conscious breathing. Letting go of the breath, giving it back to the body, letting the body take over. And just reconnecting with our senses, maybe what we hear, what we smell, what we feel temperature-wise in the body, the air, the sounds. Or if you're ready, we can open our eyes. Thank you. I hope you have found it useful, and as always, if you wish to explore any of our mindfulness courses, just click below on the link in this video for more information. I hope that you have a wonderful day ahead. Bye-bye.